2024 is almost over, so I wanted to take the time to do a food creator recap because I don't really see a lot of food creators do recaps like this on their journey, their goals, etc, etc. I'm gonna try to be as specific as possible, but my brain is feeling a little jumbled right now, so if you have any specific questions, let me know in the comments. And excuse what's going on in the background, I'm currently baking. What I'm baking, you will see on my channel pretty soon, and I hope you like it just as much as I do. Well, I'm in the middle of it, so I guess I can't say that I actually like it. But anyways, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes because I want to stay on track. I've been a food creator, a food content creator for a little over 4 years now. I feel like 2024 was actually really pivotal for my career. This is the fastest growth that I've had across any of the years, across any, it's just been exponential this year. So I'm gonna go through some things that I think helped, some things I think didn't help, and what my goals are for 2025. So if you don't know me, my name is Taylor Rankin, and I created Hungry Mockingbird. I'm across all social platforms, and yeah, I've been across all social platforms since the very first. I was one of the first people on TikTok. So when people say, oh my gosh, I wish I was on TikTok when it first came out, I was, and it still wasn't successful for me. So yeah, there's that. So first, let's get into where I was at the beginning of this year versus where I am at now. The current date is December 17th of 2024. And as of January 1st of 2024, I started with 30,000 followers on Instagram, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 12,000 followers on TikTok. I was also working full-time at an agency and part-time doing social media, which was really full-time. Like I was really clocking 80 to 100 hours every week easily because of how much I was investing into this. But on the bright side, as of today, December 17th, 2024, I'm at 187,000 followers on Instagram, 12,000 subscribers on YouTube, and 80,000 followers on TikTok. I'm now a full-time content creator, and I've also been signed to my dream agency, DBA. But anyways, let's get into some of the things that I think really accelerated my growth. So first, this might be a little controversial, but if you are not a Nepo baby and you don't really have anyone that you can rely on, you're gonna have to get it out the mud. I still went and got a full-time job and used all of my disposable income for Hungry Mockingbird. I was making sure that I could get the ingredients, I can invest in the equipment that I wanted. I had the idea of who I wanted to be up here and the goal to get there. It didn't matter. I know that sometimes life is just unfair and sometimes we really just have to hustle 10 times harder than other people. Maybe I'm just used to it because that's my reality, but you know, you just gotta do it. I used the time and the resources and the money that I had from my full-time job to try everything. On camera, off camera, voiceover, no voiceover, ASMR, literally any content style that you can think of, I tried it. I wanted to see what made people watch me. And that's another thing. It's a really tough pill to swallow sometimes, that you gotta work a little bit harder to get people to watch you. People are visual creatures, and I don't mean that physically necessarily. Like if someone compliments your voice all the time, if you're somebody who gets compliments on your voice all the time, you need to be doing voiceovers. You need to be talking on camera. Whatever people compliment you on, you need to make those your strengths. You gotta know your strengths and kind of put away your weaknesses and work on them and figure out what it is that you want to be. But fighting against the tide is not gonna work. You have to work with what people enjoy seeing you as. And I know that might not make sense. It's kind of like when you have a video game player and you're customizing their abilities. If you know that them being fast doesn't really matter for the role that they want to play, then you don't have to spend so much of the allowance on speed. You can spend it on strength. You have to know what it is that you want to do and then allocate your strength properly. You know, does that make sense? I'll explain more if that doesn't make sense, but I feel like you got it. That also leads into my next point. You have to stop making excuses. I know I am a worker bee and my friends get so upset with me sometimes because the hustle culture, I am a product of it. I love it. I love working. I will always do it. But if you know you want to do something, you have to stop making excuses. There are so many times that I wanted to make excuses, and sometimes I still do. But every point that I get to that, I have to ask myself, how bad do you want it, Taylor? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want the goal? Because you're sitting, sleeping in bed when you could be working. You're sitting, laying there when you could be doing it. You know, like some things just don't come easy to some people, so you got to take it, okay? Like I have wasted so much time overthinking and psyching myself out. I honestly still do. Even recording this video right now, I'm just so nervous. Like, what if I say something and it doesn't make sense? Or what if my tips aren't actually helpful? Or what I actually say isn't helpful? I just got to get it out there. And if you have any specific questions, I am more than happy to ask them. But I had to get out of my own head, you know? You just really have to want it. Like, I was also laid off from the agency job that I work, which is why I'm actually now kind of forced into this full-time creator thing. Like, and it's been amazing. I've absolutely loved it, and I'm so glad that that ended up being how things happened. But in the moment, I was like, I'm a failure. I've been doing this for years. I haven't really cracked anything. People don't try my recipes that much other than my friends. I don't really know how people want to see me, if people want to see me, etc., etc. But this has been an amazing year for Hungry Mockingbird, and I'm really excited to keep it going. I'm trying not to jinx it, but you know, just get up and do it and figure out how you can be a realistic optimist, okay? Also, one thing that I know isn't super realistic is when I got signed to my agency, it was a week after I gotten laid off. It felt like a light coming down from God. Like, it was crazy, but that was the moment I realized I could not goof off anymore. There are people who have faith in me, and I cannot take that in vain. So that was really the moment where I was like, I need to treat this like a job. I need to be consistent. There is no more, oh, I don't feel like doing this. Oh, I don't feel like posting this. Oh, I don't feel like. You do it. You gotta do it. If that's what you want, you gotta do it. Like, there's just no excuse. Also, I get asked a lot if it was worth it to sign to the agency, and 1000% yes. I don't know a whole lot about influencer management, but I do know that the one that I am signed to was the one that I wanted, and I held out until I was reached out. And my manager, Emma, is amazing, sent from the gods. Like, love her so much. Do not regret it at all. And that's another thing. I didn't go seeking the agency. I just waited for them to reach out to me. I did not think it would happen so soon. Nonetheless, a week after I got laid off, when Emma signed me, I think I was still at like 80,000 followers on Instagram, which isn't an easy feat, but it just seems so small for the rest of the people that the agency signs and that she would potentially have on her roster. So every day I am so thankful that she decided to go out on a limb on me. Let's get into what I use to film and edit. And everything will be linked in the caption, the bio on my LTK for easy browsing, or you could just search it with what I say, you know, it's fine. So I do all my social videos with my 2022 generation phone. It's just a phone. Use your phone for your social videos. So for Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube Shorts, I use my phone just like everyone else. My biggest tips, always wipe off your lens and increase the sharpness in post, okay? Then my long form, this camera that I'm filming on right now, is a Canon R50 with a 35mm lens. I tried other lenses. My kitchen's actually like really small, so I keep my camera in the closet to get this like shot, because if it's like up here, you literally just see like my face and that's it. So I really just like the low focal point of this lens, so that's what I use, and I make it work. And I'll probably show you what it looks like in my closet at some point, but it's a little embarrassing right now, so we're just gonna let you use your imagination. And then I use CapCut to edit, like everyone. Love CapCut. Again, up the sharpness. I usually up the sharpness on my videos to 30 in CapCut. And then I'm looking into the DJI Osmo 3 for vlogs. Right now I just use my phone, but I think I'm convinced, you know, I want to start doing more just like casual vlogs. I feel like a lot of food creators don't do that, and that's what I want to see. I want to see what they're doing. I'm not really like a makeup girly or like a beauty girly, which I love them too, don't get me wrong, but it's not as relatable for me as it would be for someone who has like a hyperfixation on food as much as I do. And additionally, I have a newer light with the lantern attachment, so it's one of those like big lights with the lantern. I'll probably insert that in the bio as well, so you can see what it looks like, or maybe I'll just insert a nice picture here. But that's pretty much it as far as equipment. When I tell you I've bought so much equipment, like I have spent so much money on equipment, on every tripod, on every camera. All right, next. I've always done this, but I haven't done it as well as I feel like I have done it, and I still think I have a lot of room for improvement on this. But talk to the people that support you. Like, they don't have to, and don't take that for granted. You know, like the people who comment, the people who DM you, the people who try your recipes, the people who support your Substack, like, don't take that for granted. And I'm trying to do my very best with talking to everyone. I am an introvert, so sometimes I really struggle with talking to people. Like, I want to talk to them, but I feel like I look silly. So if I haven't responded to you, it's not you, it really is me. I know that sounds so cliche, but it really is. I get so nervous, and I'll be like, oh my God, what if I say something and then they hate me? But I really do try, and I'm so grateful for everyone's support. But You respond to everyone. I know there are a ton of creators whose whole shtick is not responding to anyone, but think about, is that the audience that you really want to cultivate? I know it's not mine in this food area. I think that food is something that really brings people together, and I want to continue doing that. So just something to keep in mind. And I mean, you really should be doing that with everyone anyway. If anyone speaks to you, or just being kind to the people that you see in your day-to-day, but really if you're trying to be online and have an audience, you really need to make it a community. If, you know, whatever. That's my opinion. That's my opinion! Next, you can't really care about the money. And I know that that's such a privileged take, but honestly, you really just gotta hustle. Like, you have to think about, okay, well, what do I want to do? If the money is the end goal of this, you're gonna be a little disappointed, because it takes a lot of reinvesting into yourself, into the business, to make this work, at least in my experience. If you're someone who, again, is like a Nepo baby, or XYZ, you know, that's your prerogative. That's on you, okay? But for me, every single dime of my full-time job, like all of my disposable income went to Hungry Mockingbird. I was buying equipment. I was investing in every single thing that I could. I was trying and failing and failing. And sometimes you're gonna fail so much, you're gonna be like, dang, I wasted so much. And you're gonna have to get back up, and you're gonna have to keep trying. And again, I can only speak from my experience, but that's what I guess I would say to my past self, like my January version of myself. That's just kind of what it is. But I'm gonna go through the list of things that I've invested in that I really think were so worth it in this past year. I invested in editors for long form videos. I had one, but I just brought on another one to help me edit all the shows and the videos and episodes that are going to be coming out in these next few weeks. Repurpose.io, I love it when I post on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever I post on first, it will automatically remove the watermark and then repost it to other platforms. So my YouTube Shorts, my Facebook Reels are used with Repurpose, and then Pinterest has a section where you can just go ahead and have all your Instagram videos and posts redirect to Pinterest, which I think is really cool. Quality cooking equipment. I have all-clad pans. I think that it has made cooking so much easier. I think that a lot of people really don't realize how much your cooking equipment affects your efficiency. And I mean, it's like a no-brainer, you know, and I understand not everybody is in a position to do so, but that is something that I really feel like you should be investing in. I love stainless steel, cast iron. That's my big go-to. If it's not metal, I don't really want to use it, but I will, you know. Like I spent like $400, $500 on caraway pans. Don't even use them. I donated them. Like, you gotta invest in what makes it easier for you. Next, my lighting and film equipment. I already went through what I use to film and edit and my lighting and all the other stuff. But one thing that I really did invest in this year was a business phone. I went and bought a completely separate phone so that I could film, edit, handle everything organized. So that phone is completely organized with all of my content, all of my ideas and everything. And I even have shared folders from my personal phone to my work phone so that I never feel like I'm missing an idea getting written down. That's one of my favorite things that I've done. It was an expensive decision, but it's one of my favorite things I've done. And this is probably another favorite tip, is I knew that I couldn't afford a videographer this year, especially with getting laid off from my job. So I hired one to teach me how to use my own camera and how to set up my own things. I have a friend, his name is Ty. I'll link his Instagram in the caption so that you can go and chat with him. But he offers creative direction and producing services, where he came over and he was like, okay, put your camera here, put your light here, this is what it should look like, this is how you know that this is overexposed, this is what this does. And then he even wrote out what I should have in my background to help me really pop from my background, just everything. He gave me a full comprehensive lesson for a couple of hours on how to make it work with what I have. Honestly, you wouldn't think that this is a cheap camera. Like, this camera is probably like $600, which isn't super cheap, but compared to a lot of the cameras that are out there, I think that it's a deal. And another thing that I started investing in, and I'm still investing in and figuring out, so we're gonna make this the 2025 goal, is my appearance. So I figured out the style that I really like wearing my hair in. I'm still trying to figure out how to get it to look a lot neater. I don't know how to do hair. I'm still learning. I try to keep my nails done as much as possible. I just wear press-ons so that I can take them off whenever I want. I can switch them up whenever I want. And to be honest, I don't really like nail salons. I don't like being touched by strangers. Yeah, I love and hate relationship with the nail salon. But in this new year, I really want to start refreshing my style. I feel like I'm a fashion girly trapped in a non-fashion outfit. Like, I want to be a fashion food girly so bad, but I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to wear, what it is that I want to do, which angles I want to take, and I'm trying to learn how to style what I already have so that when I buy new things, the styling comes easy. Because I feel like that's where I go wrong, is buying a bunch of things, thinking that it's going to look like it does on the person that I saw on me, and it doesn't. So I need to learn how to style and then buy the clothes. So that's going into my 2025 goals, which we will get to later. But I do have a few things that I don't think helped me. One, those videos saying, do this to go viral, do this to be famous, do that, do that. I have tried every single one and none of them worked. Your best bet is, if you can afford it, to hire a freelance strategist. That is a professional that is paid to help you figure out how to get yourself in front of people. Don't listen to the randos telling you how the apps work. The apps are going to constantly change. Algorithm giveth, algorithm taketh. But what you really need to do is focus on how you want to be presented, and then the audience will come. Next, I would film what I think would go viral versus what I actually wanted to make. And I was miserable. I hated it. It was just not super fun. Everyone said, post the low-hanging fruit, post the low-hanging fruit, just post, post, post. And while I do think that you should post yourself, post what you are proud of. Don't post what you're not proud of. And I don't mean that in like a being overly hard on yourself kind of way, but genuinely just make sure, yeah, this is me, this is representative of me, and this is what I'm like, and this is what I like. Do that. And sometimes it really is okay to have that low-hanging fruit, but think about the audience that's going to garner you versus the audience that you want. And just be mindful of that. And the last thing that I would not do again is not properly researching how to use the expensive equipment that I was buying. There's been so many times where I bought equipment and somebody else said to buy it, they loved it, it looked good on them, it sounded good on them, etc., etc. I get it. The light is too cool or too warm for my skin tone. The mic doesn't pick up the frequencies in my voice because maybe the other person had a little bit lighter of a voice or a little bit deeper of a voice. The lens, I bought a lens, it doesn't even fit in my kitchen, so you have to make it work. You just got to make sure you do your research. Make sure that it would work for you, for how you operate and the way that you enjoy to operate. Because if you have to go through a bunch of steps to make this expensive equipment work, you are not going to want to do it. You're going to procrastinate because you're going to be dreading having to get it to work, having to mess with it, having to finick with things. Like, just make sure you really do your research and find how it's going to benefit you personally, you specifically. Okay. Now, lastly, thank you for sticking around. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's just me straight up chatting. So if you made it to this point, you're a real one. My 2025 food creator goals. I want to do a complete style refresh and integrate my fashion into my content. I'm really excited for this. I feel like my style is just like a little different. I know everyone says that, but we'll just see what it looks like. I feel like I'm going to be looking like a 14-year-old girl who just learned how to do makeup. That's another thing I want to start learning how to do is makeup, because I don't really wear any, and that's just because I don't know how to do it. But I'm so ready to learn. I'm gonna be ambitious. I want 1 million followers on both Instagram and TikTok if it's still around, and I want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am hustling to get this content out, and I really just want to create this beautiful community of people who feel like they are helped in so many ways, and I just want to do what I love, you know? Next, I want to produce multiple shows. I'm actually in the middle of producing one right now. Trial and Error is my favorite show. It's been rocking with me since I first created Hungry Mockingbird, and I'm filming an episode right now, which I actually probably need to hurry to get back to while I'm filming this, because my bread is going to be overproof if I don't finish in like the next 2 minutes. And then one of my final goals is to finalize a production crew to help me offset a lot of my production responsibilities. I want you to watch my things and be like, that is a show, that is content. I have never been one for super easy and like not super thought out content. Like, I like TV, I like movies, and that is kind of the avenue that I personally want to go into. So those are my overview of my goals. I can go more in depth if you want me to. Just comment any questions and I'll answer them, and I might make a part 2 to this video. I don't know, but what I do know is I need to get to my bread because she's almost overproof. All right, bye. Hopefully this helped.